Hello, this is the Left-Handed Knight. I'm Mr. Wolf, and welcome to Crusader Kings 3. With this series, we will develop the story of the Martin Dynasty, analyze genetic lineage, manage family and dynasty, and run a breeding program. This will be a relaxed playthrough that focuses on story and alternative history. I don't have a specific end goal in mind, and I will let the series and gameplay develop naturally. I won't be speedrunning. I will be going until we reach the end date or until the game lags so much that it's basically unplayable. But anyway, let's get straight into it. In 859, Martin the Brave usurped the West Frankian throne in a revolt, removing Charles the Bald from power. Only 8 years into his rule, he died and left the throne to his only son, the very learned and scholarly 16-year-old Louis. It is Louis's reign that establishes the Martin Dynasty, with their motto, God with the righteous. Alright, welcome to the first episode as King Louis. His reign will likely be split into 2 episodes, with each successive ruler having their own episode after. For a cultural fascination, I'm going to do mustering grounds for the increased army. As Louis, we're going to be doing a learning lifestyle, and I think the same is going to be for all my rulers. I'm going to do a scholarship focus, and we're going to do scholar, whole of body, then theologian. I'm above my domain limit, so I have to give out some of these counties. I'm going to pick someone who isn't already a ruler, has generally high skills, and has decent stewardship. This man will get my counties in the Duchy of Berry, and Tonnerre will go to this man. I'm going to remove one of these regiments to reduce our upkeep. The rest will be stationed. I'm going to rearrange my counselors. Stewardship is my top priority, and we're going to increase development in the capital. Then we're going to pick the best marshal, then best chancellor, then best spy master. I don't exclusively play tall, but I do like to increase development because it yields benefits for taxes and cultural fascination. There's no reason not to increase development. And because Louis is diligent, we can do the develop capital decision, which we'll do as often as possible. I'm going to recruit a physician and a caravan master. Let's increase our court amenities and place our artifacts. I'm going to create these titles for an initial prestige and legitimacy bonus, and I'm going to hold off with accolades for now. I'm also going to hold off with marriage. I don't want to start having kids just now. I'd rather there not be a super small age gap between me and my heir. Alright, let's hold court. Sitting on my throne, I gesture for my guards to open the doors of the hall. A stream of people file in, some lining up in front of my throne while others move out of the way so they can simply observe the proceedings. After several moments, all movement in the chamber has ceased. All faces turn towards mine expectantly. In front of me, I count 3 petitioners lined up in an orderly row, waiting for me to call on them. A middle-aged man steps before me with quiet dignity, before bowing deeply. Greetings, your majesty. I am Gargamel, your loyal servant. I come before you today to seek employment in your court. I am an experienced fighter, having served the local lords and garrisons of Boulogne, my homeland. It would be my honor to put my talents to a greater cause, in the service of my king and all West Francia. We can make him the master of the horse for extra knight effectiveness. I'm faced with Adele Duman's sad eyes, which grow larger and more pitiful as her error, whatever this is, so-and-so gently ushers her towards my throne. King, so-and-so laments, the girl has been at Eudes court with no one to watch over her since the disappearance of her dear papa. Please look to her future. What can be done with such a child? Let's just give it to someone in my court. Oh, munificent King Louis, I am Ermesenda, and I have traveled far to ask for your aid in righting a great injustice. The woman in front of me bows deeply before continuing with her well-rehearsed plea. Count Sabarica of Minorca currently sits on the throne of Minorca, but I am the true and rightful ruler of those lands. If you aid me in pressing my claim, I shall swear fealty to you, and serve you loyally until the end of my days. No thanks. As the last petitioner departs, various courtiers follow them out of the room, having business to attend elsewhere. Others remain, talking among themselves about the recent proceedings. Soon the ceremonial formality of the proceedings has dropped away entirely, with the hum and bustle of normal courtly life taking its place. My business here is done. So as King Louis, I'm not going to be conquering and expanding my realm that much. I'll be keeping war to a minimum. I don't want to start acquiring new lands if I don't have anyone else in my dynasty to give it to. So my first priority is to establish my realm and my dynasty. Later, as a future ruler, if I have the opportunity, I'll start to expand and conquer and then give those lands to people in my dynasty. I also play with debug mode. I like the extra information it gives me. And sometimes on occasion I might have to fix a curveball that the game might throw at me. I don't want to have to cheat, but sometimes there's weird circumstances that just ruin the gameplay. Like for example, in one game, for some succession reason or something else, my heir and his wife decided to get up and move to Bulgaria, and then I couldn't interact with them anymore for some reason. So to prevent things like that, I like playing with debug mode. But during this playthrough, there won't be cheating, and I also won't sweat too much as I want it to be a relaxed playthrough. Let's pick the best options we can get. Now, for some reason, I hate my court physician. He's also very ugly. Yeah, that's not a nice face. He did resist my conversion, but I will pardon him to increase opinion. Now, we are in debt, which we should get out of soon. When I can, I will be attending grand tournaments. They do yield some benefits. Now, I do have 5 prowess, so I could easily lose this. Arrayed around the sand, shirtless contestants warm up for their bouts as the herald announces the contest commencement. Some of the competitors rub dirt onto themselves. Others opt for oils, all looking for a scant advantage in their coming bouts. The wrestling qualifiers have come to an end, and it is clear who will be put forward for the quarterfinals as it stands. The varied pitches and volumes of the crowd's cheers leave no question as to the favorites. For my first bout, I have been paired against my fellow contestant, Prince Ludwig of West Franconia. Yeah, he's got more than double my prowess. I don't know if this is going to go well. The crowd bays for blood as I stagger forward to confront my opponent again. I cuff away a red rivulet from my forehead and consider the fight so far, musing about when to make my move. The bout is close, so close. One mistake by either of us could end in an instant. Let's go for what gives us the best advantage. And yeah. Trumpets sound, the crowd clamors, competitors begin to assemble. The contest is over, and someone's moment in the sun is being readied. A herald steps forward, voice booming out across the scene. After many trials, some tribulations, and above all else, some truly spirited competition, Duke Anso beat Walter in the final. Anso is our winner. I must put in more effort next time, I think to myself, watching the victor's arm be raised. There is always next time. Alright, we're back. Greetings, my amicable liege. I have arrived in Paris to pay homage to you, glorious king, as a show of my loyalty. I bring you rich gifts worthy of your majesty, as a token of my good will and servitude. Thank you, Duke Baudouin. We have an opportunity to sponsor an inspiration, and I will be doing this, as these give us artifacts with bonuses. A plague reached our realm, but is far enough from our capital. We don't really have to worry about it. We're going to start with scientific, because it does give us cultural fascination progress. And I will be ensuring that these artifacts we get are of higher quality. One exceptional thing about King Louis is his height. He's about 2 meters tall, or 6'7". An interesting thing about this game is the DNA system and how genetics is inherited. I gave him exceptional height to see how that trait is passed on over the generations. In the future, we'll see many characters of exceptional height, and that'll be a mark that they're a descendant of King Louis. In here, my lord. My beneficiary Ailika gestures to the door of her weavery, where she's been toiling for months on my commission. Stepping through the doorway, I gasp as I gaze upon the work hanging in front of me. A large fustian tapestry of excellent craftsmanship, a beautiful garden is depicted on the cloth. The grass is green, flowers grow colorful and luxuriant, and the trees laden with fruits seem to reach the sky. This does give us some bonus, so I'll hang it up. If we get better artifacts to display, I'll just sell the ones that aren't as good. Also, giving people artifacts is a good way to increase opinion. To the vile King Louis, I have been corresponding with your Chancellor, Duke Ramnulf, and it has been a shameful diplomatic display. You are not the man I thought you were. Yeah, I don't really care. Are you serious? Paris is being raided, so I'm going to have to deal with them. Let's deal with these raiders. There we go. You don't have to be too worried about raiders, but if they do raid your capital, that's going to be a problem. And thank you, Count Eckhard. Okay, we can hold court again. I'm going to turn this guy down. He wants a spot in my court, but he is terrible. This guy wants increased development, but it would also hamper the development in our capital, so we're going to ignore that. Again, someone wants a position in my court, but they're just not that good, so I'm going to reject them. My business here is done. So a faction has popped up, and I'm going to keep my eye on them. In the near future, I'll look for ways to raise their opinion of me, so hopefully they'll leave. This master wants to create a grand throne. We can also attend a feast. What is going on here? So while I'm here, I'm going to try and befriend a powerful vassal. Hopefully this will help us secure the realm. It's taken much of the evening to get myself close to Duke Hugo without making it feel forced. After all, the best friendships are natural, and I want him to think that this is spontaneous. The man picks at his food, pushing a few small morsels around a greasy wooden plate. It's all a bit heavy, isn't it? This course, the course before that, the course before that, and... He nervously eyes a servant bringing out the next round of dishes. The next one, too. So much rich food all in a row, when what we really need is some innovative palate cleanser. Yes, sadly, it was just a poor choice, I think. Okay, it got us closer, but it didn't increase opinion. A toast to the albino Mayor Bohemond. Hear, hear. Oh no. Time disappears in Giacinta's workshop, drinking wine as we excitedly discuss the throne she is creating for me. Am I imagining things? Or is there an indescribable tension? My mind wanders, absorbing the subtle quirks of her body, her laughing lips. I place my hand on hers. The owl drops from her trembling fingers as I gaze longingly into those beautiful eyes. In her, I find the same desperate passion. She falls into my warm embrace. Nah, dude, we gotta get you married. Oh, she's older, too. Let's get out of here. A Carling here has an inspiration that we will sponsor. Oh wow, so we did get a decent artifact. That is a cool-looking throne. Let's go to this grand tournament. As I am looking through the market stalls in Epernay, I feel my purse string cut. Despite my immediate reaction, the thief disappears in the crowd. Only through pure coincidence, one of my guards sees the man as he heads into a back alley. "Stop, or I'll have your head," one of my guards shouts at him. And the thief turns around, giving us an angry, shifty stare. How about we take the opportunity to lose stress? And let's dedicate this to my dynasty and get the renown. For the dynasty legacy, we're going to do blood. This is going to help us run our eugenics program. Okay, there's 2 Brittanies. Jarl Heljarskin just took over Brittany, so I will be able to wage a holy war against him and take Brittany for myself. I'll definitely do that later after I build up my army. The Carlings are not in a good spot. They're all dealing with these internal wars. Looks like King Carlman became a conqueror. We'll see how that situation unfolds. I should get rid of y'all. I'm going to create the Duchy of Berry and give it to that guy I gave titles to before. I can vassalize the former king of Brittany. Welcome to the realm. Now that my legitimacy is high enough, I will be able to create the Empire of Francia if I get enough money to do so. And thank you, Count Milan. Handling 4 wars at once is not pleasant. We're able to develop the capital again, so let's do that. And we can hold court. I'm going to let him proceed with the survey for the benefits it gives us and the extra opinion. These children are not my responsibility, so I'll give them to a courtier. And I'm going to avoid my vassals getting hooks on me. It's a good time to marry and start having children. What I'm looking for is a young, fertile spouse. And what will benefit the dynasty the most is if I marry someone with a good congenital trait. This person has the beautiful trait, which she'll pass down to our offspring. I don't want to have too many male heirs, as I don't want my realm to be divided that much, but I would like to have a lot of children nonetheless. Having lots of children will exponentially increase the size of our dynasty. This is our new wife, the beautiful Queen Hildegard. What I love seeing is genetic inheritance over time. It's interesting to see different traits from different characters mesh and blend and get passed down to your offspring and their offspring and their offspring. Okay, something weird just happened, so I'm gonna have to fix this. For some reason, she spontaneously just had a child, although she wasn't pregnant. I don't know if that's a bug. It was pretty weird and it made her leave my court. You know what, I'm also gonna make her my soulmate. I don't know if she's cheating on me, but the game is doing some weird stuff, so I'm gonna try and tie her to me and prevent it from doing that. Yeah, this was weird. This child was spontaneously born from someone who wasn't pregnant, their father being Lothair II of Lothringia, and they're the head of their own house for some reason. I think the game is just creating random characters with that. Which was weird because I had already married her and then it did that. Achoo! Giacinta's sneezing was loud enough to attract the attention of everyone nearby, myself included. Some chuckle, and others shake their heads in disapproval as a reaction to this. I usually sneeze in 3s, she explained sheepishly. Apologies about that. Bless you. Sneezing is just a part of everyday life, isn't it? Learn on the job is probably one of the best skills to pick up. Look at how it increases our stats. I've seen Zadok handle everything from leeches to rotting bodies, but the discomfort on his face is something entirely new. As your physician, I am the guardian of your health, he says, staring down at his shoes. That also includes your reproductive health. Nah, what's this guy up to? I could make a tincture that might help you and your wife. I have also read about some experimental treatments with promising results. Honestly, this looks really good. So, as you might know, the woman's pleasure is just as important as the man's. You must make your wife's seed spring forth, so it can mix with your own. You should read this tome about techniques for the bedchamber. It was a lot of work to master the unfamiliar methods, but master them I did, at least if Ildegard's reaction was any indication. Zadok is very positive about the results, and I feel excellent. He tells us to be patient, but I think we can expect a new family member soon. Alright, let's go back to the bedroom. Okay. Hopefully we should expect many children. Honestly, this child that just appeared out of nothing might limit the amount of children she can have. I think the limit in this game is 9 for women. So if that's the case, I'll just use debug mode to give her another child, if that's ever an issue. But that instance is exactly what I'm talking about, and it's why I play with debug mode. For some reason, CK3 will throw you random unfair curveballs at you, and it'll just disrupt your game. And it seems like those fertility methods are working. Hopefully most of our children will inherit the beautiful trait. Okay, so we did just get a daughter that was born with the intelligent trait, and I'm not complaining. I think Magdalena will be a good name for her. By God, a handsome man in our town at last, the barmaid says, blushing and smiling as I enter the tavern. I am here to meet a few local patricians on official business, but it will be at least an hour or so before they arrive, so perhaps I can distract myself with this girl. Actually, let's ignore her and get the small piety and prestige bonus. Oh wow, we got an illustrious book, and it does give us a medium health boost. And we just got another illustrious item. Cortana, the Sword of Mercy. The legendary sword was once wielded by Tristan against Morholt. This would also be why the tip of the sword is missing, a piece lost to the thick skull of the Irish giant. Oh, and we just got twin sons. Great. Our heir got beautiful, and the other son got handsome, which is good. We're going to name them Louis and Antoninus. Losing 5 wars at the same time is pretty crazy. Same with this guy. And it looks like King Charlemagne took Bohemia. I'd like to gain this lifestyle perk, but let's not gain that much stress. It looks like the one chance that the Carlings had at thriving is gone. The conqueror King Charlemagne drank himself to death on the 18th of November, and in the following year, on the 11th of April, his son also drank himself to death, now leaving his teenage daughter to inherit the throne. I guess there's an important lesson in this. Okay, now we're able to get Scholar, and this will help with development growth. A markedly disgruntled Duke Ramnulf hurries to your throne. Liege, I have a right to the county of Maine no matter what anyone else might say. Will you support my claim and have your vassal Duke Gautsbert relinquish what does not belong to him? You're gonna have to fight for this. And he won. I never expected I would grow as close to King Orty as I have done in the past few years. On multiple occasions, he has proven himself a reliable and forthright man, with only my best interests at heart. Alright. Haunted by a ghost. Let's exorcise this ghost. Last night, I had a strange dream. I met a person who was surrounded by a halo of light, though I could not see their face. Their calm demeanor and gentle voice indicated to me that this was a kind and compassionate person. I don't recall much of what they told me in the dream, but what I do remember is them telling me I was lonely and merely wanted some company, so I apologize if I caused you any inconvenience. Before I go, let me atone by giving you this little blessing. When I woke up, I felt at ease. Wow, that's good. It gave us a decent bonus. And we lost all our stress. My son just got curious, which is good. I'm pretty sure that will help his learning education. And his twin brother got rowdy. I'm going to set his focus to martial. I can unite my kingdoms, but I won't do this until I create the Empire title. It's a ghost! Ethelwine shouts, pointing behind us. Ah! Nechemia screams. Ethelwine bursts out laughing. You should have seen your face. How craven. That wasn't funny at all. You know what? Come on, Nechemia. Your cowardice is embarrassing. That was so stupid. Thank you, Count Emery. We just had another daughter, who we will call Sarah. Also, a major plague just popped up in our realm, so I'm going to keep my eye on this. And you know what? I'm actually going to isolate the capital. You can see here that the plague could spread to our capital any moment. We could start a legend, but honestly, I don't care for these things. They're pretty much a waste of money. To the amicable King Louis of West Francia. Salutations, my fine friend. Would you care for a rousing game of chess? You're going down, man. Okay, his learning is 16 minus 39. Yeah. We won in 2 moves. An excellent match, sir. It looks like whatever this was killed Alfred. Yeah, he died after a botched treatment, and you can see his realm has been completely divided amongst his children. Now that's going to alter the course of English history. Unfortunately, one of our vassals just committed suicide. We've been invited to Duke Ramnulf's hunt. Let's try and befriend Ramnulf. Luckily, we've had another daughter and not a son. She will be named Dorothy. Duke Ramnulf, how are you? It's not often we get a chance to talk, I open informally. He seems surprised, but not hostile to my conversation. I think, given his personality, I should appeal to his diligent side. And that didn't work. We can hardly keep up with the blasted beast as it darts and weaves through the leafy bushes, squealing wildly. Scaling a rise and disappearing into the dense thicket, the boar is gone as quickly as it appeared, with only panting dogs and sweaty horses to show for it. Yeah, that did not go that well. How did you get this name? Lothair the Heartbreaker. They say he likes a little danger. Okay. Damn. He's got lover's pox. I wonder what he's been up to. He's married to the daughter of the Byzantine emperor. Okay, he's at it again. Dude, you have a soulmate. My lord, my beneficiary Karan smiles and gestures me over with ink-stained hands. The book's subject matter is a bit controversial, but it's a masterpiece. Look. An opulent tome that shows a modest understanding of alternative sexual desires as it touches upon the subjects such as art of lovemaking. The cover is silver, displaying a repeating image of geometric shapes enunciated by the placement of sapphire inserts, and it's held closed by ornamental clasps. Oh, wow. Another boost to fertility. The Ways of the Candle. Alternative sexual desire. Okay, whatever that means. Oh, my wife is bisexual. And she's pregnant. Again, Al-Andalus has completely fallen apart. The child was not meant to be. My wife, Queen Hildegard, assures me it is the way of life, but her hand lingers on her belly. I will also be the guardian of my other son, as well as my heir. The topic of my bumbling court poem, Nechemia's breadth of expertise, or lack thereof, has been a growing subject of ribaldry. On reflection, his talents do leave quite a bit to be desired. Chief among his detractors is my wife, Queen Hildegard, who makes no effort to hide her contempt. Come, my liege. Nechemia splutters over the tittering court after his confused understanding of rhyming has been roundly mocked yet again. I am good at my job, aren't I? Yeah, you're great. You're great, man. Keep it up. Oh, wow. Okay, they just blew up. I think they just dissolved his title. What just happened? Yeah, it was destroyed. This is good, though, because this is one of the easiest ways that our realm will expand. This will also leave more lands for our other sons. Would you look at that? I just love when my neighbors lose a dissolution war. These borders are just beautiful. Let's found a holy order. We should be able to restore the Holy Roman Empire soon. And another daughter, who we will name Elizabeth. Nice, the Martin Warhammer. 7 prowess. I returned from Africa with an artifact from my journey. Inside is the skull of a sly, smirk-mouthed hyena. I ask Godila for details, and she regales the story of how she felled the massive beast. Huh. You, the old hunchback? You did this? Oh, this is where Hastings went. He's the Jarl of Lancaster. Plague just popped up. Hopefully it isn't too bad. We have an opportunity to influence our son's personality. It's important to consider that he will be the vassal of our heir. Instead of making him diligent, I think the best thing for him will be temperate. Virtuous traits are just good all around, and I think a temperate vassal is better than a bold vassal. When this guy dies, I'm probably going to declare war on his heir and take this entire duchy. I could make my son zealous or gain a whole bunch of stress and make him ambitious. Ambitious is really good, but the stress gain is a bit of a problem. Maybe the extra piety would be nice, so I'm going to do that. It also gives him extra martial. Go to Count Pepin's hunt. In the dead of night, at our camp near Namur, I step out quietly. What was that sound? That's when I see it. My friend Ethelwine silently draws closer to my acquaintance Yves, or whatever, Yves, who is sleeping in the open fields. With a heavy stone, Ethelwine crushes Yves' skull, leaving the grass stained with blood. Ethelwine, or is it Ethelvine? Quickly scans the area, unaware that I've seen everything. Let's get the guard. I don't care that he's my friend. Yeah, you need to be annihilated, bro. Let's befriend one of our powerful vassals. Let's appeal to his active side. Hopefully that works. No, it didn't. Damn it. Count Pepin takes aim as the party keeps the exhausted heart in place. Exhale and loose. The arrow strikes true. Straight into the beast's heart. Good shot. Alright. Literally days apart, both of my friends just died. That's unfortunate. Literally a week apart, both of my friends, my only friends, just died. Another daughter. That's nice. The less sons, the better. Any more than 3 sons is just too much. Now, you do want some of your titles to distribute, and it secures the realm with multiple people of your dynasty, which also gives you more renown. But any more than 3 sons is just too much. I like to have 1 or 2. Anyway, I think Clementia would be a good name for her. My marshal, Duke Ramnulf, hands me my favorite hammer. It is sharpened and polished, so I see a fraction of my own visage within it. You should carry this for your own sake. Dissenters scurry through your court like diseased rats, and each time we attend a public function, I wonder if it's our last. He stares out the window. Perhaps we ought to increase the guard patrols. There's a sickly taste to this morning's air, and I am afraid. Do you know something, Duke Ramnulf? That's concerning. You are in immediate peril, my lord. I feel nothing but shame as I scribe these words. Duke Garcia has spent months bribing your guards. He plans to stage an attack on your life in front of the court. I wish for your life to be spared. But try as I may, I cannot stop my heart from bleeding for the cause of the Independence faction. I have dashed into exile. We shall not meet again. So, if there is a scheme to kill me, what I'm actually going to do is redouble guards. We also got flexible scale armor, which gives us another 7 prowess. Whatever's going on is just blatant treachery. I hope it doesn't actually pose a threat to us. I love how your vassals just can't coexist in your realm. Like, you can give them titles, you can give them land, you can give them a seat on the council, but they're never happy. Probably some of the most ungrateful people ever. It is almost thrilling sitting and waiting for the Independence faction to strike. I trust my knights to support me. After all, Duke Garcia approaches my throne. If I cannot have my own state, I must at least be the hero of my own tragedy. He pulls out a concealed sword and bolts forth. In one dread burst, he hits Duke Adelhard before dashing to hit me. It is foolish to think he could take my throne in this tiny coup. But as he turns a blade to his own throat, I realize this was never what he wanted. You know something, man? You deserve a far worse fate for this, man. You know something, man? Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Hey, dude. I made you my counselor. I went to your hunts. It didn't have to be this way. Okay? But you know what? You're going to have to die. You're going to have to go. Plus the dread. I just like the dread bonus. Am I wounded? Did you wound me? Yeah, you know what? Fuck you, dude. You are done. Honestly, that was just pathetic. Ooh, and we got the French spear. Plus 8 prowess. Looks like my heir is gay. Now, I'm pretty sure that does reduce fertility, which might actually be a good thing. You know, it might prevent him from having too many sons. Although I'd rather people in my dynasty have more children and it be larger, you know. I know this will increase stress, but I don't want my future heir's vassal to be ambitious. I also don't want him to be sadistic, because that's a sin. Now, paranoid is a killer because of the stress gain, but I think that's what I'm left with. At least it will protect him from certain schemes. Thank you, Duke Myron. These are good traits: diligent, gregarious, or temperate. They're all good, but I think diligent is the best, just because of the developed capital decision and the stat bonuses that it will give. I'm going to have to give him diligent. He's taking after his father, zealous and diligent. I'm also diligent, zealous, and eccentric. Eccentric is a really good trait. And that's mostly because of the extra monthly lifestyle experience. Okay. A beautiful sun. What's also... Okay, so this sun also has the same birthday. The 19th of September. 19th of September. Wow. Let's name him Hans. Looks like our sun became our friend. Is this permissive parenting? The peasants revolt. I'm going to assign my best commander. These guys are just cooked, dude. I don't know what they're expecting. Alright. You revolted against me, man. You revolted against me. Why the same hairstyle, too? Like, you guys are... Not only are you identical twins, but the same hairstyle. No betrothals. I am going to decide who they get to breed with. Okay? Count Cabo's Grand Tournament. Let's go. While traveling in Luxembourg, we came across some old ruins. Ruins so old we didn't even recognize them as ruins at first, as we all thought they were randomly placed stones. Only when Hans, who has some knowledge of such ruins, came closer did he recognize the site as man-made. The structure, he says, has been badly worn down by the elements. As we briefly rest by these ruins, Hans remarks with a sigh, "Life is so ephemeral, isn't it? To think that these must have been some sort of glorious building ages ago. Someday we, too, will be in even worse shape than these ruins." Nah, dude, he did not say that. This 1-year-old did not just say this shit. Okay, it seems like the game just really wants my son to have the ambitious trait, and I'd rather him have ambitious over sadistic, so... I hope he doesn't revolt against my heir in the future. And for my heir, either he can get calm or brave. Now, calm increases dread decay, so I'm actually not so sure about that. Brave increases prowess, so actually, I'm going to go with that. I can usurp the kingdom of Burgundy. Looks like the Duke of Spoleto is a conqueror. Contestants march onto the field, taking their places around the sparring quad. As the herald announces the contest's commencement, the squared-off ring is being looked over in the background, rattled and shaken to ensure no give should a contestant crash into it. The dual qualifiers have come to an end, and it's clear who will be put forward for the quarterfinals as it stands. The varied pitches and volumes of the crowd's cheers leave no question as to the favorites. For my first bout, I have been paired against my fellow contestant, Reginar. Because I'm shrewd, I'm going to get a huge bonus right here. I'm winning this fight by some margin. I just need to hold it together for a few more moments. We advance upon each other once more. We are both battered, we are both tired, and there can only be one winner. One final bluff might decide this. And it did. We lost. We had a 61% chance. Come on. My weary thrust goes wide, my opponent contemptuously, not even bothering to weave out of its inaccurate attempt. Instead, I find myself instantly on the defensive, parrying blow after blow without being able to answer with any of my own. I backpedal desperately, weaving and dodging anything to stay in the fight. Reginar changes tack subtly, and I sense the end is near. I do my best to keep my guard against his storming blows, but the last catches my blade awkwardly, breaking my grip and knocking it into the dirt. The judges call an end. I have lost. Oh, come on, dude. Looks like my opponent just won the whole thing. Well, there's always next time. Alright, I just inherited the county of Chalon. Someone with crazy... This guy has 26 stewardship. You know, that's going to you, man. Looks like England is reforming under King Wulfmare. Thank you, Duke Robert. We can now pick up the next dynasty legacy. Okay, we just got another daughter. I think Stephanie would be a good name. The nervous young poet stands before me, reciting his latest poetry. Despite his nervousness, he performs splendidly for the most part, and everyone is impressed with the eloquence of his words and the way he expresses emotion. Alas, right in the middle of reciting his poetry, the poor man forgets the lines of his poem. His mouth opens slightly. His eyes pop out as he goes into a panic. He stutters the previous lines in an attempt to remember. Meanwhile, everyone is watching awkwardly. Should I openly laugh at him and mock him? You know what, I'm feeling nice today. Let's encourage him with inspiring words. I'm not a total asshole. My eldest daughter has come of age. Magdalena the Zealous Ravener. She definitely resembles both of her parents. I want to marry her off young while she's still fertile, so that she can have as many children as possible. I'm going to pick for her a man within 10 years of her age who also has a good inheritable trait. And that trait should be from a different family than this one, just to diversify the amount of traits our dynasty has. This Croatian man right here has the max trait for the appearance family. I also want the marriage to be matrilineal, so the children will be of our dynasty. Hopefully her children will inherit both of these traits. Now I hope she's okay with his weight. Now that is quite the impressive mustache, though. Okay, we've discovered the mustering grounds. I think now it's time for Causus Belli. Now, I'm pretty sure it's the Ethnicities and Portraits Expanded mod that does this. They actually give Charlemagne an accurate appearance. Through the barbershop, we can see his DNA. I can temporarily paste this onto Louis. Now, this depiction of Charlemagne is actually more consistent with the first-hand accounts on his appearance. Many of the famous depictions of Charlemagne are actually not that accurate. There's a really good artistic reconstruction of what Charlemagne probably looked like that's on YouTube, which I will link to. Excuse me? You had Humbert von Ussel dedicate an artifact to Queen Gertrude, a romantic gesture. We fell in love with the Queen of Bavaria. You know what, I'm not going to break up with her. I'm gonna see how this unfolds. Ah, excellent. Roast swan, my favorite. Magdalena bellows merrily, gorging herself as the servant desperately steadies the serving tray. Oh, my beloved saffron cakes, you are truly delectable, Mordecai says with a singing voice. Now, this is what life is all about. Servants, more spiced wines now, Benoit demands. It would appear that my courtiers are enjoying themselves. I should let them be. With his coming of age, my tuition of Louis is at an end. Always the curious and knowledge-hungry child, Louis has shown an affinity for scholarship from an early age. His understanding of philosophical and theoretical works is impressive, and he often engages in debate with his former teachers. Even at such a young age, he can be heard quoting obscure passages to support new ideas and theories. His twin brother also comes of age. This is my son and heir Louis, the fearless zealot, who does indeed resemble his father. And this is the identical Antoninus, the covetous knave. Now, I'm going to marry off Antoninus, but I'm not going to marry off Louis. I'm going to wait a while before I marry off my heir. I basically have the same reasoning as to why I delayed my own marriage. I want to make sure there's a sizable enough age gap between my heir and his heir. I want to marry him off to someone who has a trait from a different family. We do have the physique and the intellect traits available. I prefer the intellect traits, and I also prefer a younger spouse for him. So I'm going to marry him to the Swabian girl. Someone who's greedy and dishonorable won't really make the best vassal. It's unfortunate, but I didn't have much of an option in giving him the ambitious trait. The game did keep pushing it on me. My heir, on the other hand, is very zealous and very bold. It's late, and I'm tucking into a gripping treatise on classical grammar. Just as I start giggling at some delightful snide marginalia left by the previous reader, my wife enters the room. Spineless man, you neglect everything but your studies. Reading indoors alone from dusk to dawn. Get your head out of those dusty scrolls, or don't come to my bed tonight. You know what? We've had enough, kids. I need not lay with you. I have the warm embrace of knowledge. All right, I think it's time to form the Empire of Francia. It is on the 13th of September, 896 AD, that Louis became the Emperor of Francia. We are now a mighty emperor. Now, this courtroom does resemble the Palatine Chapel in Aachen, where Charlemagne held court. I don't know if this is supposed to be a copy of that, or it's just supposed to resemble it. Either way, it still looks cool. Eventually, we're going to have to create accolades. I haven't found a good one yet, though. When we start to make more money in the next episode, I'm going to start building up my military. I am entertaining some important members of a nearby city today. They include high-ranking officials, merchants, scholars, and more. I notice among them is a young man, handsome and of good heart, yet clearly forlorn and disturbed. Let him be. One of his companions whispers to me, he is melancholy because of a woman. Women? Bah, he needs to learn they're nothing but trouble. As I chat with the young man, he tries to play coy, but can't deny that his heart is broken. I cannot determine whether because the girl rejected him, is with another man, died, or that some other calamity happened. But it is definite he will never be with her. Clearly he is lovesick, and the girl certainly seems like a really impressive woman worthy of love. What should I tell him? You know what, man? Let your boundless love inspire you to do great deeds. And with that, I'm going to have to end this episode. It's been 30 in-game years, and we've been playing quite some time. I've been up a bit too late recording, and I think it's time to go to bed. In the next episode, we will play through the rest of the reign of Emperor Louis, and whatever that might bring. Also, at the end of next episode, we will have a history recap. I will present the events of the reign of Emperor Louis and the Martin Dynasty as it stands. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. The next episode should be out a week after this one, and until next time, take care.